A final word about the current reforms. Don't expect any dramatic change to occur overnight. We believe the only real political progress is gradual political progress. Next, permit me to turn your attention to trade issues. It is undeniable that trade is currently the major preoccupation of the US Congress. Given that trade is our economic lifeblood, it goes without saying we think it's important too. In this regard, we've been doing what we can to help brighten the trade picture between our two nations. Indeed, we've made great strides toward liberalizing our economy so as to accommodate the US on trade issues as well as to place it on a more solid footing for long-term growth. We are not naive. We understand perfectly well that if America's economy is not healthy, then our economy will suffer too. In the past year, we've taken a number of measures to alleviate trade problems. These include opening up several lucrative domestic markets to imports from the US and other countries, such as wine and tobacco. We've agreed to allow additional US insurance company to be set up here. And we have practically restructured our tariff schedule to make imports from the US and elsewhere more competitive. Tariffs have been eliminated or lowered on hundreds of items. Indeed, this has been a continuing effort over many years, which which is now being accelerated. At the same time, we have permitted a steady appreciation of our currency against the US greenback to occur. In the past year alone, the new Taiwan dollars has risen 16% in value. This trend is continuing. The appreciation may not seem like much, but it has already entailed hardships for our exports manufacturers, virtually all of whom are of very small size. Frankly, we don't think currency appreciation is the answer to the trade imbalance problem. The basic solution lies in our ability to do more importing and in the US ability to compete for a larger share of our imports. There are limits to what we can do, not because we don't want to do more, but because of the nature of our relations. Simply, simply stated, there's no way in the world for 19 million people to import as much as 250 million people can. Moreover, our levels of economic development are such that our people can supply your market with many of the things that can no longer be produced economically in the US. On the other hand, we do need your high-tech products, but either your government won't sell them, or what we need is not enough to close the trade gap. Such are the realities of our trade that we have to face. While it's true we enjoy a huge trade surplus with your country, which were close to 14 billion US dollar last year, I must bring your I must bring to your attention another way of looking at this. On a per capita basis, whereas each American bought only 78 worth of ROC products in 1986. Each ROC citizen spent as much as 284 on American products, in spite of the big difference in their incomes. This fact clearly shows that the trade imbalances are not always what they seem. The issues then should not be the balanced trade per se, but rather the fair trade. In that regard, there's still more we can and will do. I'm referring, of course, to the fact that we will continue to open our markets. We also will continue to lower our tariff and non-tariff barriers to imports. In the meantime, we will not lessen our resolve to eradicate counterfeiting and provide adequate protection to intellectual property rights. But none of these efforts on our part will mean much unless they are complemented with an intensified effort on America's part to sell her products abroad. According to the US Department of Commerce, an estimate of 80% of American manufactured exports are generated by not more than 250 companies. We believe there's much that can be done both by US industry and by the US government in expanding America exports to improve her trade imbalance. In this connection, we are pleased that President Reagan has placed renewed emphasis on the need for American manufacturers to become more competitive. For our part, please rest assured we will continue to cooperate and do all we can for a smoother ride in our trade and other relations. Thank you. I'm afraid I've taken up much of your time. I hope that you will enjoy tea and your stay here.